I think we're ready. Well, it is a cold one today. We're in the garage, thankfully. The wind sounds like it's gonna tear it down. But we're gonna tear this frame down today, get the motor and trans out and on an engine stand, pull the axles out from under this, and start welding it. Today we got a special guest appearance, Kelvin. He's out here to work on his car today. We're gonna get this motor hooked up, pull it out, separate the trans, and get the motor put on this motor mount. We just finished up pulling the motor and trans out. We got those separated. We got the motor on the motor stand over there. So we're gonna go ahead and start building that within the next couple of episodes as well. But for now, we're gonna get started on welding all the flats. I'm trying to weld this so that everything looks really good. And the best, I mean, you can do uphills really good if you're the best welder in the world, but not the best welder in the world. So it's nice to just weld everything flat. That's why we're going to pull the axles out from under this as well. But weld everything flat right now. We'll take the axles off, we'll spin it, weld everything flat on each side of the frame rails. That way everything looks super good and is super strong. Alright, we're going to use a MIG welder and MIG weld everything. So just a couple MIG welding tips. When you're welding flats, it's better to push the weld rather than drag it. What that does is gets down, penetrates the metal deeper. Also, it doesn't leave like that weld looking like it's bubbled up. It's gonna dig in deep and lay nice and flat. So I'll show you my technique. It kind of varies depending on what you're doing, but most of the time on flat welds, especially in a nice angle like this, I'll take the gun, and a lot of people draw cursive E's, people go, you know, up and then back down. They do a bunch of different stuff. So what I'm gonna do, just keep the gun angled right in, like it's going to be digging in nice and deep. I'm going to get it nice and red hot and then push the weld forward and drag it back. And it's super important to watch that puddle the whole time. And you just keep it the same size so that your weld looks really, really good. And you're just going to push it along just like that, back and forth. And this, like I said, keep an eye on that puddle. Make sure you keep your wire digging in right at the puddle there, so it's penetrating as deep as it can. So now I'm going to show you guys with some real heat. So you can see the weld's nice and flat, embedded into that crack, nice and good. Looks pretty consistent all the way through. The weld stayed the same size. Like I said, you just want to watch the puddle the whole time you're welding. Well, I guess we're out of wire. That was cool. So luckily Dad had another spool here. Cal's gonna be paying Dad back for all the supplies we go through welding this frame up. Now that he's a big working man, today he's out in the garage, he's running the camera right now. I'm teaching them a little bit about welding as well. I'm teaching you guys. Like I said, I don't know everything about anything, and everybody does stuff different. So if you weld different than me, sweet. I weld my way, and it works great. So, oh my gosh, someone went nuts on this thing. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I'm tightening it. Cool. Well, we're back in action. We got a new spool in the welder, and we're gonna start burning again.
Well, them boys were busy over there. I built me a little play toy. So I bought this toy the other day, and I always wanted a vertical bandsaw because we've been using this old school thing here, and I can't cut certain things like notches or little pieces. So we're gonna make some end caps today for all the capping that we got to do on this stuff, and we're gonna try to use this. I just used a piece of 1/4-inch steel plate that I had laying around. I drilled it and mounted it to underneath where the guide is for this saw. And then we just welded a piece of pretty heavy gauge steel over here. I think it's almost 1/2 inch. But it's real rigid, and then when you're pushing on stuff here, instead of it being on a stand, that they make these stands, but then you have to clamp them down. So this thing here, I can put a lot of pressure on it. It's mounted to my welding table, so it should work really nice. We're gonna try it out here in a second.
Well, Dad's over on the bandsaw that he made, a little vertical thing I showed you a minute ago. He's loving it. He's cutting out some patch panels for the trans cross member, because we're gonna cap all the ends of them. We just made caps for the top of the ladder bar mounts. Those are all capped up, welded, good to go. All the flats on top of the frame rail are welded, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the axles out now, flip the frame over, put it on jack stands so that we can weld the bottom side flats. Well, we got the frame completely stripped. Axles, both front and rear, are out. Motor and trans are out. It is just the frame now. So it looks pretty cool, flipping it around to see all the cool artwork. We've got a couple of things to change, things to guss it up. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle that a different day. We're gonna enjoy Christmas here. So just wanted to tell everybody thanks for the year of watching us, and you'll be able to see more of the builds and stuff next year. We're not stopping, so we'll get to welding this next couple episodes. We've got Cal's motor on the stand. We've got a startup stand over here as well. All that stuff so we can build the motor and fire up the motor before we actually put it in the car. So all that stuff will be pretty entertaining to watch. So thanks for watching.
From all of us here at Loud and Ugly Garage,
Merry Christmas!
And we'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year.